I can't believe that it's already been 1 month since the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro have been released. Overall, I am happier than I expected to be with these new phones, but that doesn't mean that the iPhone 11 Pro isn't without fault. Let's get a huge obvious one out of the way, and that is 3D Touch. They say you don't know what you've got until it's gone, and that is absolutely the case here. I first noticed the differences last year since I switched to the iPhone XR when working on that review, and I have to say the haptic touch is a much worse experience. I know, battery life and all of that, but personally I would take a slight hit in battery life and still have this additional layer on the display that allows me to open things faster and more precisely because the battery life is already just so good with this phone. My next complaint is the matte back. I love the look and that it isn't a fingerprint magnet, but when using the phone one-handed, I've literally had it slip out of my hands multiple times compared to the XS's shiny glass back that offered a lot more grip. I know I'm in the minority of users who use their iPhone without a case, but I'll still be keeping it that way because I love the way this thing just looks and feels, being nice and fairly slim without a case on top of it, but I definitely am considering picking up a grippier skin. I won't be talking too much more about hardware or design, but of course I do wish Apple finally made the move to USB Type-C with this Pro moniker that they added, along with a faster refresh rate, and also that 64 gigs of base level storage for $1,000 is pretty ridiculous. What's not as obvious is the software. I will be talking about RAM management in just a bit, but let's start out with a few things that Apple has pretty much fixed and other things that hopefully they will soon. The first one is something that we've been complaining about for years, not being able to quickly change your video recording. In the current beta, we can now press on the resolution or the frame rate to swap through them. Personally, I would rather have the full menu pop up to access all of the settings, but this is definitely a huge improvement. The only other thing that I can complain about camera-wise is night mode with the ultra-wide. Apple most likely didn't add this since the quality wouldn't match up with the other two lenses because there's no optical stabilization with the ultra-wide and the sensor is also smaller, but I know that the quality would still be much better for nighttime photos than having to use the ultra-wide without night mode. The Note 10 Plus also has an ultra-wide lens without stabilization, but they still let you use night mode, and those photos come out fairly decent and usable compared to having pretty much dark black photos with the ultra wide if you're shooting at night with the iPhone 11 Pro. Maybe that's just another thing they're saving for next year, like USB Type-C, and maybe another feature that I really want, which is an always-on display. I've used Samsung Galaxy phones a fair bit, and their always-on displays are quite useful. I understood why the iPhone 8 didn't have it because of its LCD display, and maybe the battery life being the reason that the OLED iPhone 10 and XS didn't offer it, but now that the iPhone 11 Pro has super good battery life, why not offer it? The iPhone 11 Pro has a super good display. The overall quality is similar to the Note 10 Plus, but Apple allows you to manually turn it up much brighter, and if you have a lot of white on the screen, it doesn't dim like other phones. Unfortunately, after a month, YouTube still doesn't support HDR playback. I'm not sure if this is just YouTube's fault, but we've had 4 YouTube app updates since the iPhone 11 was released, and that feature is still not there, whereas last year, the iPhone XS had support in less than a week. Because of this, some HDR videos look worse on the 11 Pro than they do on the iPhone XS, so hopefully this will get fixed soon and it's not some other issue that is holding it back. Another thing that really jumped out at me is Apple's use of the ultra-wide lens during FaceTime. When FaceTiming, I often try to show something to my kids or to my wife, so I'll switch over to the rear lens, and then that way I can show them something, say, at the store. But now with the ultra-wide lens, it gives you a really super wide distorted image, and then when you bring it up closer, it just doesn't look good. And then not only that, if you have slow internet connections, like over LTE, all the pixelation and that distortion really makes the image kind of unusable to show something off, whereas with the iPhone XS, it was much better. This should be a fairly easy software fix, just giving us a couple buttons to be able to swap between different lenses, so hopefully Apple will add that in. Now let's talk about RAM management. Just like the iPhone XS, the 11s have 4GB of RAM, which is 2 to 3 times less than many of its competitors. People say that iOS is much better optimized, which is true, but after using some higher end Androids and now going to the 11 Pro, I routinely have background apps that close and I have to reload the app, losing where I was at. It even seems worse than my iPhone XS, which just doesn't make sense. My only guess is that iOS 13 keeps less apps open. Maybe it's to save battery life or some other reason, but it's something that I deal with almost daily. Now, I'm definitely a much heavier phone user than the average person, but this is enough non-issue with the Note 10 Plus, and the OnePlus 7 and 7T Pro, those will even preload your most used apps ahead of time in the background, and I think for a base price of $1,000, the iPhone 11 Pro should at least have come with 6 gigs of RAM. Let me know if there are any other issues that I didn't bring up that you're facing down in the comments section below. Click above to subscribe and then down below to enable those notifications. If you guys want to see a few more great videos like this one, there's a few options right over there. This has been Max with Max Tech, and I will see you guys in the next video.